Well, one of the, let's say, the very often starting points for companies is they start with their digitalization strategy, and they discover all these wonderful things that you can do with technology. And then somebody says, hey, we now have that ability to monitor our equipment. What if we now start to offer outcomes and as a service business models? So having that single focus or starting point as only the digital initiative or the IT-driven initiative, I say that's one of the common mistakes. And so rather than starting outside in from a customer perspective and to have that driven from the IT or the digitalization initiatives, it's a textbook classical mistake. So I think also you typically find companies that start this, they start with something maybe a very unique and complex situation, and they say, oh, we can solve this super complex problem for our top 3 customers. The question is, if you look at it from a business case, from a scalability point of view, are those top 3 customers representative for all of your customers? Can you achieve some volume in the market that with that proposition that you're offering? Very often they get into these very complex customers and trying to solve all kinds of issues there, but without realizing, hey, this is really not a scalable business model. We can't repeat it. It's not. You can't standardize it, let's say. So I think that's a common one.
Would you like to add to that, Ian?
Yeah, no, I think Hilbrand's nailed, the most of the critical points. One thing that we didn't talk about earlier, and it's maybe salient to raise it here, is the different set of competencies that are required in the sales process, and it's not just the sales domain, but the broader thought that I was having was, just because you've built an interesting model, don't expect that the organization's going to go away and execute it. There's 2 dimensions at least. There's the internal organization, and that can, all the resistance topics that we alluded to earlier, but simple things like pay plans, familiarity, technical competence, and again it differs by industry and corporate culture, but very often if you've got a very technical engineering-led sales business, it's not necessarily very comfortable to then transform the pitch, which is much more consultative normally and much more business focused. So I think there's really significant pitfalls that can be avoided by just not assuming that your sales organization is equipped to sell a different type of business model, in fact. So that was one area. I think the main thing though is what Hilbrand was touching upon around the value proposition. What are the other alternatives that a client has, an end customer has, to acquire products and services? And what's compelling about the way that you're putting that together? We've seen that many times where clients think we've got this bundled solution, it might deliver an off-balance sheet solution, so everybody's going to be biting your hand off to solve the problem, and that's actually not the problem or not the top priority for the end customer. So I think the outside in view is critical, and don't design in isolation. I think that's probably the biggest mistake that we encounter regularly.